And we should be good. Hello, everybody. Spider here, the DeFi Car Podcast, coming to you from San Antonio, Texas. Of course, being joined by somebody in Corpus Christi. Now, as far as your name, of course, I'm going to say Marina Robles. Now, Marina, being in Corpus, I want to ask you right off the bat, where did that name come from?
Actually, my mom said that I was named after a Russian girl that was in one of her classes.
Wow.
She heard the
Okay.
name. Yeah, she heard the name and she thought it sounded really, really pretty, and it just stuck, I guess. And coincidentally, now we live right next to the ocean. So
No, you see, and I was going to ask about that because that's it, man. I personally have never heard that name. I've heard it in songs or maybe in somewhere, but it's an actually pretty unique name.
thank you. Yeah.
Being that you have that name, does that kind of like take a role in its own? Are you like, hey, I'm my own person, I'm unique because of that name, or vice versa?
I do like to say that I'm unique, like a unique individual, just in general, but I have been told that because of my name, I only know one other girl like with the same name that I've met, and that was years ago when I was living in Florida, also by the water.
Okay.
So yeah, that was a long time ago. The only other Marina I know.
No, no, and I just wanted to bring that up because, like I said, I like it. I like that name definitely. Now, let me ask you. I have you on here for a few reasons, and one of them, of course, is you have a fight coming up. This is going to be for the Texas Clash promotion, of course, on July 16th, which is my birthday weekend. So I'm hoping to be there. And but I want to ask because this is going to be the second time stepping inside the cage, and the first time you fought was not that far fetched. That was not even what, like a month ago. I want to say.
Yeah, it was, gosh, when was it? Yeah, like a month ago, about in May, and then in June, and now July. So.
And because of that, of course, you didn't sustain any injuries, right? Everything was good. Did you go back like straight to training, or did you take some time off after
Yeah,
that
no,
fight?
we went straight to training. Yeah. So actually, after that fight, I went backstage and my coach had told me, like, all right, we already got something lined up. So I was like, okay, cool. I enjoyed my weekend and then went back to the gym on Monday.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, and I was gonna ask you because obviously you're still young, so your recovery time's like like Wolverine. You can get hurt and walk around the next day. But
Yeah.
as far as training, how does what does it consist of? You are a mixed martial artist, but of course you separate like the gi from the no gi and everything else. So what exactly do you train in?
So I do strength and conditioning just to make sure I have a strong base. I've always been into working out in general. I actually did bodybuilding before doing the fighting. So lifting weights, strength and conditioning, like I understand how important that is. So I do that every day, Monday through Saturday. Sometimes even on Sunday. I don't really have like a rest day. My rest day will be like a slower pace day. Maybe go run, stretch, but yeah, strength and conditioning all the time. And then let me think. Mondays, yeah, because they just changed my schedule. Monday is usually striking, and then I'll do some jujitsu. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays are always the hardest days. That's when we really focus a lot on MMA. So you have your wall work, which my coaches are really, really good at, like making sure that we're practicing wall work, getting on and off the cage, utilizing the cage, like if we're on our back and we're next to it, what's the next move to do. And then Wednesdays and Fridays are either wrestling or boxing. So
Okay.
I make sure to
Wow.
cover everything.
No, no, for sure. And of course, the gym you're talking about is weapons at hand. Just the
Mhm.
gym itself has a lot of experience just from fighters that I've fought before. So is
Yeah.
this kind of like the input that they're giving you, or they're giving you like from experience, of course?
Yes, something that I'm really, really like, I guess I don't hear too much of when I've talked to other people that have also tried to pursue the fighting, that they find it kind of hard to find a coach that is still also training,
Right.
leading by example. And I love that weapons at hand, all the coaches, like they're still training, they'll still be teaching, competing. So they are leading by example. And like you said, showing us the ropes by their own training and then giving us a game plan similar, making sure that we're covering everything because they know, they're doing it, they've been there.
No, you see, and that's one of the things I've noticed just from the talent that's coming up now. It's like I've seen amateur fighters, and I'm like, damn, man, they're fighting like pros. I mean, everything from making weight to being well versed in grappling and striking, it shows. And when I watched their fight, it was one of those fights where I was like, man, if this is her debut, like you actually look pretty damn comfortable in there.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, they're really big on being professional, whether you're amateur or you're fighting pro right now. That's something they're always talking about. And being professional, it's not just being in the limelight, it's being proficient in everything you do. That's what they like to say. So,
For sure. And now let me ask you, because earlier we were talking about the weight classes, and you were telling me that you're actually having to put on some weight to make weights. And
yes,
this is
that's
for
correct.
105. So that's incredible for one thing, because at 105, I thought you would have trouble finding other fighters, but you don't. You actually have an opponent, waiting for you on July 16th. But when you say you put on weight, I mean, what exactly are you like putting quarters in your pocket, or what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm stepping on the scales, weights. No, I'm eating a lot, lots of food intake, and then of course working out, building muscle. And then something else is the supplements, like a lot of the supplements that I take to help mass gaining, protein. My nutrition is one of my sponsors, Rocks. My nutrition is covered through them, so they've been a huge help too. Actually, between my first fight in February to this last fight, I was able to gain 3 pounds in muscle. So,
Wow. You see, and this is one of the things that I always bring up, because when I started, I keep telling people, when I started, there was dinosaurs still running around, but back then we didn't really have, there was knowledge and there was education when it came to like, fitness, but when it came to fitness and mixed martial arts, it wasn't really out there. It was more like, um, you failed at it. We tried something, it didn't work. We tried something else. But one of them was actually the fact that I was working out so much and I wasn't losing weight. And I'm thinking, damn, what am I doing wrong? But of course, I was gaining muscle. And
yeah.
so, it took me a couple of months to realize that, hey, I think, honestly, I think it was a photo somebody took. And I looked at it and I was like, damn, I look big, but it hit me when I saw that. But I didn't really understand. I mean, now, of course, you youngsters, y'all have internet, you got YouTube and but it helps. I mean, there's a lot of, I mean, of course, just like with your hairstylist. I mean, of course, you went to school, fitness. I mean, have you gone to school for that? Have you done like a personal training, or are you looking at that?
I actually do have a lot of experience in the gym. Yes. So I was a fitness director before well, I've actually done a lot of things, but so backtrack a little bit. I was working at a law office. So I was a paralegal for a while when I was doing the bodybuilding. So that's whenever like I first got into just fitness overall outside of school sports and things like that. At the time, still dating him, but at the time my boyfriend was a personal trainer,
Oh,
so that helped out a lot too, like giving me just knowledge and stuff like that on fitness overall. And then yeah, then I transitioned to working at a gym so that way I could train more. Working at the gym then gave me the opportunity to learn how to train somebody, teach someone exercises, good form, things like that. And it's helped a lot in my MMA career, not only just in knowledge, but even when I went through injuries and stuff like that, like how to get myself stronger. Because we're not always the most paid fighters right off the bat, right? So having that knowledge helped me out a lot in any kind of injuries to just make sure I'm back in the gym.
okay. You see, and that's something I wouldn't have thought of, because yeah, I mean, if you pull a muscle, or say you get it like an ankle injury, of course you learn to build those muscles around that, right?
Yeah, yeah, right. I mean, just making everything stronger around, like you said, the muscle that's hurt. Not everyone has that knowledge, so they might even make the injury worse. But
Right.
thankfully, I have the experience, so.
No, no, for sure. Now, of course, I mean, we talked about your debut as an amateur mixed martial artist, that happened a month ago. But I mean, walking into that cage, I mean, were you pretty much? I mean, did you get nervous walking in there, or were you anxious?
No, okay, so my debut was in February for Texas Clash, and I was not that nervous actually. I think because of the sports I had done before. I'd wrestled in high school, so I'm used to just doing anything really, like competing or performing in front of people. I even sang at church in the choir. So being in front of people wasn't the thing that made me the most nervous. I think I was more nervous on just wanting to do things right and make sure that I did things right so that that way I could make my coaches proud and everyone proud, more than just being in front of people.
You see, and you guys have it bad now because, of course, it not just in fighting, but anywhere. You know, you do something wrong, of course, somebody takes a photo or video, and you become a meme, right?
Yeah, become a meme.
Probably the worst thing. And I always tell people, I'm glad I was an idiot right before everything started because I would have been all over the place. I mean, it's crazy. But let me ask you, what's whose keyboard is that? Do you play or is that just for backdrop?
Yes, yeah. So I do have a musical background. I had taken choir in high school, and my teacher at the time had a piano, and she just decided to teach us piano. It was me and two other girls in that class. So
Okay,
yeah, she liked something.
I gotta ask you, what haven't you done? A lot. You've done a lot.
Thanks. I try.
Now,
I mean, we got one life, you know.
no, no, definitely. I mean, that's actually something I always tell people, especially after. And my biggest question for a lot of fighters, especially guys in the UFC or in Bellator, is always like, man, what do you have planned for after? Because we all can't fight forever, and it's just one of those things that a lot of people don't think about. But I'm hoping. I mean, somebody like with your experience, of course, I mean, once you decide to, if you decide not to pursue this, I'm sure there's other opportunities out there you're looking to get into, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. For sure the Monet, the hair care, beauty industry, fitness industry, something along those lines. I think would be good.
Now, let me ask you. Of course, I mean, your training coming, like you said earlier. I mean, you train in jujitsu and boxing and kickboxing. Is there something that you do outside being in fitness that you do to kind of implement into your game, like your mixed
Here
martial arts?
recently, I've actually been really big into breathing exercises.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's really good just for calming the mind in general. But something that's really funny, I guess, being in the gym, like personal training aspect, is I would notice my clients at the time would not breathe. They would hold their breath during reps. And not all the time, but the other day I was doing some bag work and I had noticed that I was kind of doing the same thing too. And I was like, wait a second, it's kind of
You're,
a
you're
big
turning,
deal.
you're turning blue. You're like, what's going on?
Yeah, I need to make sure I'm breathing right. So that's something new in the fitness industry outside of the gym that I've been doing for this fight camp.
Wow, you see, that's interesting you say that because when I was training, I mean, this is like I was telling you before the internet got real big and everybody started, you were able to Google anything. I started doing a lot of breathing exercises because of old cash wrestlers like, Carl Gotch and I mean, a bunch of them, but it was basically controlling your breathing, taking deep breaths and waiting to see how long you can hold it for because it would build up your lung capacity
Yes.
and it was something that I realized it helped my cardio because I would be able to hold my breath for like minutes. I would walk breath, and I mean, luckily I never passed out from it. But I noticed that because of that, I'm like my cardio, like going into a grappling and getting actually caught in a choke, and I was able to kind of like hold my breath till they kind of like figured, let go to see what's going on, and I would escape, right?
Yeah.
But that's actually pretty cool because a lot of people don't do that. I mean, was that something that you thought of your own, or I mean, were you kind of like, hey, let me try this?
No, actually, is it Crone Gracie, yeah. I was watching one of his YouTube videos one time and he was doing that and I was just like, that's a great idea.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot of gymnastics. Alex was one of them. Back there was a book back when, and it was a lot of animal movements. For flexibility, for agility. I mean, just in general. But stuff like that was kind of what inspired me and kind of motivated me to keep going because I was like, oh man, I don't want to just be the wrestler, take you down and choke you out. It's like, man, I want you to learn, build strength, build myself. I mean, just in general, there's a lot to it. Now, let me ask you, when it comes to the fight game, I mean, of course, you're stepping back again as an amateur. Um, what's your schedule like for this year? Are you looking to compete like maybe once or twice after this bout?
Oh, I would definitely like to. Yeah. Of course, I got to talk with my coaches, see what they have planned for me. As far as I know, it's go time. So if there's a fight available, they need a 105er. I'm ready. I'm always training. We're always in fight camp, whether we got a fight or not. We're always going to stay prepared. We're going to stay ready. So if the opportunity arises, I can take it.
No, for sure. And let me ask you because you've actually done jujitsu and gi no gi. It's a grappling like super fight also like in the books maybe.
Yeah, I would love that. I mean, any kind of experience, even between fights, the team that I'm with, Weapons, they
Right.
encourage competing always between fights, just keeping the mind sharp, keeping just the I don't want to say the vibe, but keeping that pace going of being in competition. You know, always go, go, go. It definitely helps a lot to just keep that momentum.
No, you see, and that's one of the things I like about one of the Corpus Christi residents in Peter Caballero. You know, the guy's boxing. He kind of ventured into that. He's staying busy, and I think that's like especially as an amateur, I think that's one of the best things that you can do is go out there and put yourself in kickboxing, put yourself in boxing and wrestling and submission wrestling, just to kind of, like you said, just to kind of hone your skills and know, put yourself in your not. I don't want to say what your weakest at, but there's a better kickboxer out there. You know what? Let me put myself out there and learn from it because
Yeah,
all that's going to add, and of course, add into your mixed martial arts career.
for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Now, I'm going to ask you because earlier I was talking about TikTok, and of course, you said you're on there just spectating. You just go on there and watch. But Instagram is the go-to, of course, for those watching this. They're going to follow you on Instagram. What other outlets are you in? Do you have any other social media plugs?
Instagram, of course, at Marina Renee Darling, and then on Facebook. I do have the TikTok. Every now and then, I'll upload one of the reels or videos that I make from Instagram, but I use it more for my own entertainment to watch those videos.
No, and of course, I mean, being TikTok, I mean, can we see you out there dancing sometime, or is it just is that
I
for you?
don't dance, actually. I wish I could. I'm considering taking dancing lessons, talking about like what haven't I done? I haven't danced, I can tell you
I was
that.
gonna say, you might as
So,
well, you might as well do it, man, because everything else you've thrown at me, that's actually it's pretty cool. I like it, the fact that you're able to experience everything and just kind of see what works, what sticks with you, and you end up doing. But as far as Instagram, I mean, of course, we're talking social media. You've been doing a great job, promoting your sponsors. And as a sponsor myself, like I mentioned earlier, it's one of the things that I want to see from fighters. And was that something that you were like, okay, you know what? Because you talked about being in sales and of course, selling products. So was that something that you were already like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this to kind of add content?
I actually just wanted to thank people because I wouldn't be able to do it without their help or their support. So a lot of that stuff is just simply like thank you. There's been some times like some of the people that'll donate or sponsor, they don't want the recognition, but I'm like, come on, please let me thank you. Like, let me thank you because I couldn't have had this without you. Yeah. And then of course with sales, it definitely became like, okay, now I know how to do this in a way that's going to actually help these businesses. I'm not just saying thank you and giving a little speech. I'm actually going to be able to help this person get business and help them grow. So it makes me feel good knowing that like businesses are getting recognized because I don't promote anything that I don't like agree with or use or stand with. So
You
definitely,
see,
I mean, I want to give them the recognition they deserve.
no, definitely, and that's key that you mentioned because yeah, as a fighter, I mean, you want to get money, you want to get sponsored, but at the same time, if it's something that you're not going to use or you don't believe in, I mean, you're not going to do that, right? I mean, you might as well
Right.
use it if you like it. Okay, I like the product, let's go for it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Now, because of the sponsors you have now, and of course, I'm sure you'll get plenty more. But what are some companies out there or products out there that you're like, you know what, you wouldn't mind getting sponsored by?
That I wouldn't mind getting sponsored by. Let me see. Um, Because I honestly, I'm very grateful and blessed to say I feel like I have the sponsors that I have now. They really do cover me a lot. But let me see, maybe something food wise, because I'm always eating.
Yeah,
That would be a big help. I'm always eating, trying to make weight, gain that muscle. So right now, a lot of my supplements are through Rock's Discount,
right.
um, and that's where I get majority of them through their sponsorship. But yeah, any other food companies out there? Meal preps.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why I was asking because, of course, I mean, you guys can use the help every which way it comes. And back in the day, even back in the day, I just told fighters, I said, if you get a sponsor, even if the sponsors are enough to cover your phone bill, your insurance, you know what I mean? Like, it still
Yeah,
helps, But I
everything
mean,
helps. Everything helps. I cannot express that enough. Even down to like, there was a girl who had given $10 before, and she was like, "Oh my God, I'm not able to give that much." I'm like, "Dude, this is gas money to get to the hotel. Like, thank you."
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you see, and that's what I was gonna say because especially, I mean, the gas is going back down, but we don't know for how long. But it helps. I mean,
Yeah.
definitely anything helps. Do you have I mean, I don't know if you want to plug it in, but I mean, for those willing to help or interested in helping you, I mean, can they reach you on Instagram and then get your information for like
Yeah.
Cash App or well?
Definitely. I do accept Cash App and Apple Pay. So those that do have my number, of course, they can send me Apple Pay directly. But Cash App, Marina Renee Darling, also for Cash App and Instagram.
For sure. Now, earlier also, and this is before we started recording. I mean, you're fighting an opponent also from South Texas, coming from Laredo, Texas, and it's one of those things like it's bittersweet because I'm like, man, you know what? I want to see this, but then I don't want to see this. I mean, the fact that you two are fighting as an amateur, I'm kind of like, okay, you know what? Because if you go pro, who knows? I mean, you might end up facing each other later on in life. But what do you know about your opponent? And I mean, are you already working on a specific game plan for this?
Yes, definitely. My game plan for sure is just focusing on myself, making sure that my martial arts and my techniques are getting better. Um,
Right.
I don't want to say that I don't focus on, a game plan based off the other person because that is important to be aware of their tendencies and things like that. But I don't make that my main focus. I want to make sure that I'm like learning what I need to learn as far as my game goes, evolving where I need to evolve. Like that's what I think about all the time.
Okay, cool, man. I mean, well said, definitely. Now, before we go, I wanted to ask you: is there something you can play for us on that thing, or is it too
It's
early?
not connected
Oh,
yet. We just moved into this house. Yeah,
oh,
so
okay,
there
okay.
was some other stuff that was here that I just threw off, but here's a few like the wires and
Oh,
stuff. So
gotcha.
yeah,
I'll,
it's
I'll,
not
I'll,
plugged in.
I'll let it slide for this one, but
Next
next
time.
time we do the interview, man, I want to see you set up and play something for us for sure.
Yes.
Now, I want to thank you, of course, for coming on this. Of course, the fight is going to be for Texas Pass Promotion. It's going to be on July 16th in Beeville, Texas. I've been to the venue. It's going to be at the Grand, and it's a nice setup. I mean, I like it. I'm definitely looking forward to that. For those watching this, what can they expect come fight night?
They can expect a show. I like to stand and bang, but I also am comfortable on the ground with takedowns too. So they're gonna get some entertainment. They're gonna get to see two girls scrap.
No, no, for sure. And last but not least, of course, plug in those helping you for the fight and your sponsors.
Yes, thank you to the training room who helps me with my injury, recovery, rehab, Rocks Discount who helps me out with my supplements and vitamins, Reslos who's helped me out a lot financially this camp and last camp as well.
Nice. Well, I do appreciate your time, of course. I'm looking forward to you guys come fight night, and I want to thank you. But hopefully after this fight, we'll go ahead and bring you back and see what's next. I mean, maybe you'll play something for us then. We'll see.
Yes, I'll have it all set up and ready.
No, not a problem. Don't hang up yet, everybody out there. Of course, this is Spider, the Fight Card Podcast. Till next time, follow up.